In the soft glow of an autumn afternoon in 1943, America's most documented psychic sights quietly, his eyes reflecting a wisdom that seems to transcend this physical world. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, had given thousands of readings while in a trance state, revealing insights about health, spirituality, and the nature of existence itself. Today, he has agreed to an interview that would remain hidden from the public eye for 7 decades. His perspective on death, the soul, and humanity's future would prove too profound, perhaps too challenging for the world of his time. Before we continue, drop a quick hi in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. It really helps support the channel. The small recording device clicks on, and the interviewer leans forward with an air of reverence. Mr. Cayce, thank you for agreeing to this conversation. Many know you for your medical readings, but I'd like to explore deeper territories today. Could you share your understanding of what the soul actually is? Cayce's eyes close briefly, as if accessing some inner repository of knowledge before he responds. The soul, he begins, his voice measured and gentle, is the divine part of us, our true identity. It is not something we have, but something we are. The soul is that which was made in the image of the Creator, a spiritual entity that existed before this physical life and will continue long after. It is the meeting point between our physical experience and the divine consciousness. The interviewer nods, clearly moved by the simplicity yet depth of this explanation. And this soul, does it have a purpose during our earthly existence? Indeed, Cayce responds, shifting slightly in his chair. The soul's purpose is growth and development, what we might call soul development. Each incarnation provides opportunities for the soul to learn, to overcome, to expand its understanding of its relationship with the Creator and with others. He pauses, gazing out the window momentarily. The physical world is a testing ground, a school of sorts, where souls learn through experience what they already know innately. That love is the essential force of creation. You speak of incarnations, the interviewer notes, writing something quickly. So you believe we have lived before and will live again? A subtle smile crosses Cayce's face. What I believe matters little. What I have witnessed in thousands of readings is that the soul's journey encompasses many lifetimes. Reincarnation is not a belief system, but a pattern I have observed consistently. The soul retains memory of all experiences across lifetimes, even when our conscious mind does not. These memories shape our present character, our talents, our challenges, and our relationships. The interviewer appears slightly uncomfortable but continues. This contradicts much of mainstream Christian thought. How do you reconcile this with your own Christian faith? Cayce leans forward, his expression earnest. I have found no contradiction between the essential teachings of Christ and the concept of reincarnation. Jesus himself spoke of being born again. The early Christian communities held various views on the soul's journey. Remember that Christ taught, "In my Father's house are many mansions." These are the many states of consciousness, the many dimensions of existence through which the soul may travel. He pauses, thoughtfully. My readings have consistently shown that the soul's journey aligns perfectly with Christ's central message. Love God. Love your neighbor as yourself. Each lifetime is an opportunity to express this love more perfectly. Let's turn to death itself, the interviewer suggests, after a thoughtful pause. What happens in that transition, according to your insights? Cayce closes his eyes momentarily, as if seeing something beyond the physical room. Death is not an end, but a transition, a birth into another state of consciousness. When the physical body ceases to function, the soul, with its mind and identity intact, moves into what we might call the astral or spiritual realms. There is no loss of consciousness, though there is often a period of adjustment and review. So, we remain aware throughout this process? The interviewer asks, visibly intrigued. Very much so, Cayce responds with certainty. The readings describe how souls are met by loved ones who have passed before them, by guides who assist in the transition. There is a life review, not as judgment, but as learning, where the soul experiences the effects of its actions on others. This review is motivated by love, not punishment. The soul then enters a period of rest and planning, before either moving to higher spiritual dimensions or preparing for another earthly incarnation, depending on what is needed for its continued growth. The interviewer sits back, processing this information. And what determines whether a soul returns to Earth or moves on to these higher dimensions you mention? It's a matter of what the soul needs for its development, Cayce explains patiently. Some souls have completed their necessary earthly experiences and move on to other realms of service and growth. Others choose to return to work through karmic patterns or to serve humanity's evolution. The key understanding is that these are not arbitrary assignments but conscious choices made by the soul in consultation with higher spiritual entities, what some might call angels or guides. You've mentioned karma. Could you explain that concept as you understand it? Cayce nods thoughtfully. Karma is simply the pattern of cause and effect applied to soul development. It is not punishment, but a universal law of growth and balance. When we create discord through our thoughts and actions, we must eventually experience the rebalancing of that energy. This may occur within one lifetime or across several, but karma's purpose is always educational, never punitive. The goal is not suffering but awakening, coming to understand our true nature as spiritual beings and our relationship with all of creation. The interviewer pauses, then asks, "Your readings often spoke of Atlantis and ancient civilizations. How do these relate to our individual soul journeys and humanity's collective future?" A shadow of concern crosses Cayce's face. Many souls incarnate today lived in these advanced civilizations. The story of Atlantis particularly serves as a warning, a civilization that achieved remarkable technological advancement, but fell due to spiritual corruption and the misuse of energy for selfish purposes. Many souls are now returning to work through the karma of those times and to ensure we don't repeat the same mistakes. He leans forward, his voice growing more intense. We stand at a similar juncture today. Humanity has developed tremendous technological power without corresponding spiritual development. The choices we make in the coming decades will determine whether we advance into a new age of enlightenment or face serious global challenges. "And what do you see for humanity's future?" the interviewer asks, pen poised expectantly. Cayce is silent for a long moment, his expression distant. "I see both tremendous challenge and tremendous possibility. Earth changes will continue. Shifts in climate, geological activity, economic systems. These are partly karmic corrections and partly the Earth's own evolutionary process. But these changes also create the conditions for spiritual awakening." His expression brightens. "I see a future where humanity gradually awakens to its spiritual nature. Not all at once, there will be difficult periods ahead, but consciousness is evolving. More people will develop psychic abilities naturally. The veil between physical and spiritual realities will thin. Ancient wisdom and modern science will find common ground. And most importantly, we will begin to understand and practice the interconnectedness that has always been the truth of our existence." The interviewer appears deeply affected. "You've given thousands of readings about health and spiritual matters. Have you seen patterns in what prevents people from spiritual growth or creates illness?" "Indeed," Cayce nods solemnly. "The greatest barriers are fear, selfishness, and the failure to apply spiritual knowledge. Many seek spiritual information out of curiosity but never incorporate it into daily living. True spiritual growth comes through application, through practicing forgiveness, service to others, meditation, and attunement to divine guidance." He continues, "As for illness, the readings consistently show that disease often begins in the mind and emotions before manifesting physically. Negative thought patterns, unresolved anger, lack of purpose, and disconnection from others create energetic imbalances that eventually express as physical conditions. This is why true healing must address the whole person, body, mind, and spirit, and why attitude and belief are such powerful factors in recovery. What advice would you give to someone who fears death?" the interviewer asks softly. Cayce smiles with genuine compassion. I would say, become familiar with your spiritual nature now, while in the physical body. Practice meditation to experience the reality that you are more than your physical form. Serve others to know the joy that transcends physical limitation. Love deeply to understand that true connections between souls survive physical death. His voice grows gentle. Death is only fearful to the extent that we identify exclusively with our physical existence. When we know ourselves as spiritual beings having a temporary physical experience, death becomes simply another transition in an eternal journey, like moving from one room to another in an infinite mansion. The interviewer nods thoughtfully before asking, "Many will find your perspectives challenging to their religious beliefs. What would you say to them?" I would say, test these ideas against your own inner knowing. Cayce responds without hesitation. Truth resonates within the soul, regardless of our conscious beliefs. I would encourage people to pray, to meditate, to seek direct communion with the divine, rather than relying solely on external authorities. The still, small voice within is our most reliable guide. He continues with conviction. I have found nothing in these understandings that contradicts the essential teachings of Christ. Love, forgiveness, service, compassion. The outer forms of religion may vary, but the inner experience of divine connection is universal. It is this direct experience that transforms lives, not theological positions. The interviewer pauses, then asks more personally, having accessed such profound insights while in trance, how has this knowledge affected your own approach to life and death? Cayce's face reflects a momentary vulnerability. It has been both a blessing and a responsibility. Knowing these things brings peace regarding my own mortality, but it also creates an urgency to be of service while here. I am aware that each thought, each action, contributes to my soul's development and affects others. I strive, though I often fall short, to live by the highest principles revealed in the readings. His expression becomes more somber. The physical toll of the readings has been considerable. I know my time in this incarnation may not be long, but I face this with equanimity, knowing that the work will continue, that the information will be preserved, and that I will simply transition to another form of service. The interviewer appears moved by this candor. After a respectful silence, he asks, "Is there a message you would like to leave for future generations who might hear this interview long after both of us have passed from this world?" Cayce closes his eyes briefly, as if listening to some inner voice. When he speaks again, his words carry a special weight and clarity. To those who will come after, you live in times of great transition and awakening. The spiritual principles that govern life are becoming more apparent as your science evolves. You are rediscovering what ancient cultures always knew, that consciousness is fundamental to reality, that we are interconnected beings in an intelligent universe, that love is the binding force of creation. Your challenges may seem overwhelming, environmental, political, social, but these are also catalysts for spiritual growth. The old structures must give way for new understanding to emerge. This transition was foreseen long ago. Remember that you chose to be present during this remarkable period. Each of you carries gifts needed for humanity's evolution. Your intuitive abilities are stronger than you realize. Learn to quiet your minds, to listen to the guidance available to all. Community will be essential. Not isolation, but conscious cooperation with others of similar purpose. Most importantly, understand that every act of love, forgiveness, and service ripples through the entire web of life. No positive effort is ever wasted, even when results aren't immediately visible. The universe operates by precise spiritual laws. What you give truly does return. What you believe shapes what you experience. How you treat others determines your own soul's growth. I see a future of renewed connection with the natural world, of healing technologies based on energy and consciousness, of education that nurtures the whole person, of economic systems that reflect our interdependence. This future is not guaranteed. It depends on the choices each of you make. But the potential exists, waiting to be realized through your courage and vision. As Cayce finishes speaking, something in the atmosphere of the room seems to shift, as if the boundaries between present and future have momentarily dissolved. The interviewer sits in stunned silence before finally asking, "How can you be so certain of these things?" Cayce smiles gently. "I am certain only of what I have witnessed consistently across thousands of readings, that we are spiritual beings on an eternal journey, that love is the fundamental reality, that consciousness continues beyond physical death. The details of how humanity's story unfolds depend on choices yet to be made. Free will remains the great gift and responsibility we all share." The recording device continues to run as the interviewer gathers his thoughts. Finally, he asks, "If there was one practice you could recommend to everyone seeking spiritual growth, what would it be?" "Meditation," Cayce answers without hesitation. "Not as an escape from life, but as a means of connecting with your true nature and the source of all being. In the silence, when the chatter of the mind subsides, truth reveals itself. Make time each day to quiet your thoughts, to listen. This simple practice, done consistently, will transform your life more profoundly than any external teaching." As the interview draws to a close, Cayce's expression reflects both fatigue and a profound inner peace. His final words seem directed not just to his interviewer, but to all who would eventually hear his message across the decades to come. We are approaching a time of awakening. Though there will be challenges, there is no need for fear. The same force that creates galaxies flows through each human heart. Trust this process. Trust your own divine nature. Every soul is known, loved, and guided on its unique journey home. This is the great truth that transcends all others. We are never alone, never forgotten, never without purpose in the vast, intelligent cosmos that we call God's creation. As we reflect on Edgar Cayce's profound insights shared in this once-hidden interview, we're reminded that each of us is on a soul journey that extends far beyond this single lifetime. His words continue to resonate with those seeking deeper understanding of existence, death, and spiritual growth. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this extraordinary glimpse into the mind of America's most documented psychic. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Cayce's perspectives. Do they resonate with your own understanding or challenge your beliefs? Share in the comments below. We read every single one and value your insights. If you found value in these timeless teachings, please consider giving this video a like. It helps these profound messages reach others who might be searching for deeper spiritual understanding. Subscribe to our channel to join us on this continuing exploration of consciousness, spirituality, and the great mysteries of existence. Remember, in Cayce's own words, the purpose of life is to be a companion with the Creator.